We have a specific focus on capturing data sets. We discovered that the biggest problem was not on image, but mostly on all the other kind of data sets. Vibrations, electricity, arc fault detection, these kind of things. It's a very strong focus we have, simply because we found it was the #1 problem for most of our clients. The ability to build the data set, validate the data set, make sure the data set is ready.
STMicroelectronics has been driving edge AI innovation for over 10 years with intelligent microcontrollers, smart sensors, and advanced tools. Combined with a rich software ecosystem and a growing partner network, the company delivers energy-efficient, high-performance, and privacy-focused solutions for industrial, automotive, and consumer applications. Hi, my name is Junko Yoshida. I'm the editor-in-chief of Junko's Tech Probe, and I'm also editor-in-chief for the Junko's Talk to Us. Today, we have a great guest, Marc Dupaquier. He is a managing director, Artificial Intelligence Solutions at STMicroelectronics. Hi, Marc. How are you?
Hello, Junko. I'm very well. Thank you. And yourself?
Good, good. Well, thank you for coming to the show. I actually always wanted to talk to ST largely because of the huge presence ST has in the industrial market. Well, actually, you have also, consumer and automotive and others, but it's really where it really shines is that power of MCU, right? It's been very well accepted by developing community. Now, today's topic is what we call domain-specific AI. And you and I talked about this last week, and you said, well, there's actually a little bit of AI fatigue in the industry. And we'll get to that during this conversation. But first, I would like you to introduce yourself because you are not really new to AI field. I mean, you've worked at IBM, you worked at the startup, focus on the really tiny ML type of applications. Now you're the kind of big cheese in AI at ST. So tell us about your background a little bit.
Okay, sure. So first, what I do today, I lead what we call AI solution at STMicro. That's the team in charge of developing and designing on one side, the AI hardware MCUs that our clients will be implementing into their solution. And on the other side, the software to adapt their models so that they will be running on these MCUs. So that's my background. What I do, I joined ST in 2021 when the company I co-founded with some of my friends and colleagues, Cartesium, was acquired by ST. And Cartesium was a company that was focused on making AI possible on very small footprint. So that's now, people would say it's a low-code AutoML software company. Frankly, when we founded the company, we even didn't think in these terms. We are thinking of, wow, most of these AI algorithms are really very big. What could we do to make them way more efficient from an energy standpoint so that they would run on very, very small footprint? And this is what Cartesium did. We are very successful in this space to a point where there was obvious synergies with ST, and ST acquired us. And yes, as you said, before that, I was with IBM actually, and with IBM I was part of the Watson launch, and even before that, I was part of the data management because, frankly, when you speak about AI, it's about data. So started with database, moving to data warehousing, and eventually what became AI after a while. So I have a long career in terms of dealing with data, all kind of data, and making the best of them.
Excellent. All right. So having been the kind of experienced in this AI field, I would like you to share your observation. Right now, when we talk about AI, people always want to talk about LLMs and all kinds of, the newest AI models coming to
Mhm.
the market. But I think AI's history is long, and the industry who is embracing AI has actually gone through different transformations. So tell us about what you have observed over the last maybe 20 years, 30 years.
Oh yes, it's this is interesting because yes, you're right. Many people discovered AI arguably last year or the year before when OpenAI started to speak about ChatGPT. Um, and uh, and while to me, according to me, LLM is only one aspect of AI. It became for many people LLMs, ChatGPT, the likes of ChatGPT became AI, but actually AI is way more than that, obviously. And yeah, we've been working on this for a long time, and I had the chance to even work with people who were doing AI when AI was by far not trendy. We observed phases, and the third phase is what I call the alchemist. The people who are doing very special things, and the reason why they were doing very special things is simply there was nothing available. When people like Jan LeCun, for example, at Bell Labs, kind of theorized for the first time the CNNs. They were alchemists. They invented a concept. And they started to work with it in a way because nothing was available truly to build. So you had to build it yourself. From there, starts what I've observed, and frankly, it has been the last 10 years. Tools started to become available, and when you have tools that start to be available, when you don't need to reinvent everything, you have more people coming, and that's truly the generation of what I call the craftsmen. People who actually were using tools to build stuff, and to make models faster. And because of the tools, we were able to do it. So this is where our people started to discover TensorFlow or all this framework, and start to work with them. And obviously now the LLMs tools. So it's what's happening. As a matter of fact, many people are very good at managing these tools and might not be very good at AI from the first generation. They wouldn't even be able to build a neural network without the tool. But it doesn't matter, because at the end, what matters is what you do with it.
Yeah.
I do believe we are entering into a third phase. And the third phase is what I call the Prêt-à-porter, or it's frankly when finally you won't be building it yourself anymore. You are buying a model or getting a model that fits your business needs. So,
Right.
so as a matter of fact, the LLMs kind of accelerated that. If you look at the number of industry solutions that have been built on the top of LLMs, like ChatGPT, for example, there are many of them. So you take an LLM, very advanced. You don't need to understand how it works, and you specialized it in a way to respond to business needs. So with agent AI. So it's agentic is becoming a big piece. Ready to go model is a very big piece for us into the industrial, and that's it. So for many people, it's actually by far good enough. They don't need to reinvent the wheel. They use
Yeah.
components that are ready to go. They need to just personalize them for their own environment, and so that's the way I see it. So that's really the three phases. I believe we are entering the third one. I have no idea of what will come next, but I've been in this
Right.
industry long, but you see phases coming.
So the way I understood though is that you said we are entering in the third wave or third
Yes.
phase with Prêt-à-porter. So we kind of at the edge is we one of the things that prompted me to start this video podcast series is that I realized that every domain expert is not necessarily an AI expert,
Hmm.
and vice versa. The AI experts aren't domain expert. So I was thinking about that. How and actually you yourself said in a previous interview that many people who are developing products today are not necessarily AI natives, not just yet, right? So
Correct.
what gaps do you see? I mean, it's on one hand, I think we're getting into the Prêt-à-porter age of the AI, and yet there are some gaps that they can't just easily grab everything that it's on the web, right? I mean, so
Mhm.
what gap do you see between those domain experts and AI experts?
On one side, you have people who understand AI deep, what AI can do and what AI cannot do, and they can also understand or make the differentiation between what I call AI hype, where some people may lead you to believe that AI can solve every problem in the world, and some
Yeah,
people know it, they don't. And then you have the business users. Business users are here to resolve business problem. They can, if you are in manufacturing, that is to make sure that your assembly line is working properly. If you are making a car, to make sure that your car is working fine, that is working according to specification, that it's safe, and so on. So truly, it's about having these two worlds, so the one of the AI expert and the eye of the business expert to meet. Because
yeah,
yes, the business experts are not AI native. They grew up in a world where AI did not exist, frankly, and AI experts are not business native. And so that's bringing them together that matters. It's what business problem can I solve? How can I make my product smarter? And
yeah.
most of the AI guys won't do what make a pump smarter, as a matter of fact. And a pump, I'm taking a pump, I would take any example, coffee maker, whatever. It's a product manager doesn't know what AI can do for him or her. So it's
Ah,
I think the big challenge is bringing these two worlds together.
yeah. All right. Good. I'm going to go down a little deep about Model Zoo.
Yeah.
It came to my attention. ST's models, it's actually ST turns out to be having the largest model zoo of all the semiconductor industry. Is that true?
Oh, that's true. We actually have more, I believe, than the rest of the semiconductor industry combined. And it's a result of two things. One, it's back to what I was telling you, which is we believe we're entering into the third phase, and
Yeah.
people don't want to reinvent the wheel. They just want to personalize the wheel for what their needs are. So it's very, very early on, but it's focused on making models or family of models ready for microcontroller. So meaning that you train the model, you optimize them for your hardware, and you make them available on the Model Zoo. So we had a very specific investment into that, and then probably you saw that a few months ago in April, we acquired a company based in Canada named Deep Light. And Deep Light was actually in the ranking of the most family of models available for embedded AI. We were tied for first, them and us. So
Wow.
obviously, when the two guys tied for first uh, come together because we're quite Deep Light, you end up being way ahead of the other. So Deep Light was in the business model of making models available through a model zoo for clients,
Right.
and we acquired them. So now we are combining their Model Zoo and our Model Zoo. And we will have actually now you can still access both, but soon we'll combine them into one in one navigation. And this is why we are by far the largest focused interest plus specific acquisition.
So do you think that the actually having abundance of Model Zoo is one of the keys to the Prêt-à-porter age of AI?
Yeah, it helps a lot. It helps a lot. It's and we keep brainstorming about what model should be available in this zoo. It's because I think there are many we have. It's we think in terms of family of models. We have about 30 different family of model. A family is more Obviously, you could have a family of one, but most of the family are more than one, obviously. Some maybe family of 10, 15 large families, which would be different iteration of the same kind of problem. And a family might be people recognition or pose estimation or people counting, this kind of thing would be a family. Then you have different ways of doing it. So we do brainstorm a lot about it. Actually our head of marketing, Francois, is spending a lot of time on trying to understand what the next family should be and defining the models. So it's some of it we do it by ourselves, some we do it with partners, because we say for all the families of model of the business needs, we might not do it ourselves. We might do it with a subject matter expert. We have people, we are teaming with a remarkable company who was the best of breed solution on plate recognition, license plate recognition. So why would I reinvent something if someone has done it already? We're working with people now. We're working on optimizing battery management system down to the cell level into the lithium battery. So it's likewise. So we are complementing our models with a number of third-party models as well, and it's a big focus for us now in what we see coming into this industry.
So, in other words, those families of models you just mentioned, that become the foundation for domain-specific AI. Am I understanding this correctly?
Yes, correct. It is. You still need, but now you still need to work on them. It's when you get a model from the model zoo, it might be ready to go for you, but most of the time you still have to train again the model against your own data. Because if I take the example of battery management system, for example, while you could have a generic system, most of the time you have to retrain the model based on the type of battery that you will be using. So it becomes very specific. So it's while the model and the logic is valid, the training data set needs to be done as well, and it's part of what our clients need to do to have a ready-to-go solution in the industry.
I was saving this question later, but since you just mentioned that the training of data sets, right?
Yeah.
And because that seems to be also playing a critical role here, because without the right sets of data, even if you have the correct model, that can't be optimized, and hence it can't be useful for the specific products that are going to be designed for this specific domain, correct? Yeah. How do you collect data sets? How do you work with the customers? Or customers already know how to collect data? How does that work?
Some do, some don't. So first, it depends what kind of data set. One might think that the most difficult would be everything vision or video related. As a matter of fact, it is not, because a lot of this has been open sourced already and is available. So it's you can already have a lot, and then you can just build your own if needed. For example, I can use a model that would do object identification and recognition to pre-train my model. But then, for example, if I have a lawnmower or a vacuum cleaner, then you have to have all this picture being taken at 2 inches from the ground, yes, because it's where the camera will be. And this might not be available. So you might have to retrain with this kind of from the ground, from in the middle of the grass picture. So you have to do this, of course, but most of the time on vision, it is relatively available. Interestingly, it's less available on industrial needs, like anomaly detection on specific machines, because you end up with a very different setup, very different kind of patterns, and not all of them have been documented or available into open source. So from time to time, yes, we help our clients to build their own data set, or we help them to validate their data sets. Especially for one thing, it's if you think in terms of a model, in terms of anomaly detection, it's relatively simple to have a model, to have data of your machine, whatever machine, power generator working well. It's actually very difficult to have it of your power generator not working well. So because you have to have captured that, and it's not always easy to create the anomaly. So it's yeah, so we have a specific focus on that. What it takes to have a high accuracy on the models and ability to recognize, and it probably is one of the biggest challenge into the deployment of this solution in the field. Absolutely.
Interesting. Yeah, you're right. Anomaly doesn't happen very often. That's why it's called anomaly, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. All right. You know, one of the things that came to my attention when you and I chatted last time, you said every object of your everyday life, we have a client somewhere that's trying to apply some kind of AI. That was actually a pretty big statement. I thought, wow, every object of our daily life. Tell us that, what sort of examples that you can give us. I mean, I think there are certain examples. I mean, you just mentioned coffee makers. I mean, every company that I talk to at Edge AI, they always talk about, coffee maker or oven toaster. But tell me that things that companies are trying to do, your potential clients are trying to do, that surprise you.
Yeah, so it's many things surprise me. Frankly, it's ways because it's first because I'm not a subject matter expert into many of these tools,
Yeah.
but it's almost endless. It's back to your point. It's true. Basically, every device, every object in a house could have some kind of AI. It's funny because when people think of AI, they think of very advanced system that will substitute to human being or Android, these robots or humanoids and all that. Yeah, of course, it's AI too. But very often, the kind of AI we deal with at ST is very simple. It's something that will optimize the heat in a house, that will optimize the sound in a microphone, that will optimize the process of making coffee into a coffee machine. So it's and many other. As a matter of fact, it's just to give you an idea. It's in the last 12 months, using ST tools, over 160,000 projects have been made for embedded AI, almost 200,000. So not all of them are for business. Some are done by students. Some would be iteration of the same. So meaning that some clients would do 15, 20 iteration of 50 to optimize on a power drill, on a chainsaw, anything you want to deal with. And of course, very often we don't know what they do because it's when they use our tool, if they don't tell us, we will never know what they do. It's
Yeah.
confidential, it's their data, right?
Yeah.
But from time to time, we tell them, hey, I've seen that you are trying to do this. We'd love to help you. And from time to time, they share with us what they do. And from time to time, they don't. And then they announce that they launched a new product, and this product is using ST technology. And then we are thrilled by what they did. And we had no idea that these kind of things could be do. It's um, and that could go from detecting that child or an animal fell into a swimming pool to making sure that this thing that you have, this thing that you have in your house that tells when you have carbon monoxide, and which keeps ringing when there is no battery, which is really annoying you and that you are ready to break. That actually are smarter and are safer and use less battery. And when there is an issue, they let you know before in a better way. So many different days. Uh, I counted in my house, and uh, because my idea I was doing it to explain to my wife what I was doing, as a matter of fact. And and uh, and after more than 100 use cases of where we could put AI, my wife told me, okay, you made your point. That's okay. You don't need to find the next 100. But I would have found it. So it's the thing I personally found the most impressive
Yeah.
was advanced chainsaw that actually was able to read the face of the person who was trying to start it, to recognize if this person was certified to use this chainsaw, so that if this person was not educated, certified to use it, he could not start it. I found
Wow.
it pretty smart. It's and this got me thinking about all other use cases we could do like this. On even using your own car, maybe. If maybe after all, instead of having a key or a remote key or
You can
whatever, it
try,
could be,
right?
well, if this picture is not in the database of the car, then this car is not starting, right? Or if I notice this person seems intoxicated, the car is not starting. So it's endless. It's at the
Yeah,
end, my idea might not be the good one, because at the end, the responsibility of finding ideas belongs to the product manager of the
right.
different companies. But we do spend time with our clients brainstorming about what can be done. Absolutely.
Yeah. You said something interesting. You sometimes actually hold brainstorming meetings with your clients.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit more about that,
Oh,
because
yeah.
I think some of the things, I think what we are getting into is not AI for the AI sake, but AI becomes invisible element to make products
Yeah.
better, right? So tell me about that, the
Yeah,
brainstorming
it's a great
meeting.
story. It's actually started uh, by an internal need. We realized that very few people at ST outside of my team knew of AI and Edge AI. So we built an AI school, and the purpose of the AI school was to educate line of business people doing different things in the company about AI, just so that they would know it. So that would be very simple, and explaining to them what machine learning was, what deep learning was, what neural network was, how it was working, and on back and so on. So it's, and then LLMs, everything. And then some people in the sales team say, that's really brilliant. We should do it for clients. So we say, why would we go and educate clients on AI? And so we said, okay, why don't we instead do something that would be simpler and try to spend less time on educating about AI, because people will find ways, but brainstorming about what AI could do for them.
Right,
And that's back to what I told you a few minutes ago, that most of the people who are in decision position today are not AI native. They were
right,
not born with AI.
right,
But they know their product really well,
right,
because they have been in their industry for a long time. So the idea is, why don't we tell them what AI could do with them, and then start brainstorming? And this became some of the most fascinating meetings I had chance to make. As a matter of fact, I don't miss any. So obviously we don't do this. We do this for large clients, strategic clients. They bring people, product manager, and typically it's one day, from time to time 2 days. It's something we prepare very carefully, and then we start. And usually what we try to do is also try to make demos using their own product. So it's not elegant. We have boards kind of glued on top of their product, but the point is to make a point and get them excited and ready. So we do that. Many ideas come out of these meetings. And what you do is, you break. You make people, I wouldn't say AI native, but you show them that AI, after all, is a new phase in their life, and it's not something they should be afraid of. It's not something they should consider just for hype. It's something that just is making their product better. And so it's I've seen so many people at AI saying, I do AI, so I'm smarter. No, it's not. It's just, let's understand what it is and what it can do for you. And every time we've been running these meetings, and we do run these meetings in Europe, we do run them in Asia. We have great outcomes and great projects.
great. I found it interesting when we talked the other day, was the people who are not maybe AI natives. Yeah, the first thing they think about bringing AI is, oh, let's put the voice recognition in it, right?
Mhm.
You're
Yeah.
talking your toaster or talking coffee machines, but that's like those days are over, right?
Immediately after ChatGPT, there was a lot of ideas where clearly ChatGPT influenced one thing, and two, yes, it's this voice recognition, speaking to machine, is something that people very often come up with. It's and but from time to time, it's interesting because even when they have these needs, we try to evolve it. For example, it might be how to use it instead of just exchanging things. Um, I'm taking an example. I am not washing machine native, so using a washing machine is very hard for me. Um, so therefore, but it's the very first time my wife, we had a new washing machine, asked me, why don't you wash it? We ended up with a complete disaster. Um, because I put probably 10 times more soft than what I should have done. And so then all these things. So the idea is, I started and I shared this example with the company that actually was making a washing machine, and I told them, actually showed them picture of my house devastated, and we brainstorm about what could have AI done for me, how AI could have said, oh, you know what, Mark, you put too much laundry detergent here. Here is what you should be doing. It's too much for me. So it's that is kind of things, that I need, or maybe just saying, hey, how much should I put, and then get an answer, directly. So that is the kind of thing we get to. I do believe you would have some voice recognition, but they have to be smart. It's I don't need my coffee machine to tell me good morning, Mark, when I wake up in the morning. It's nice, but it's useless. I don't need to tell me how to make my coffee. So but that might be other usage, of course.
If AI indeed is creeping into every product we use every day, that means that I think there are challenges both in hardware and software, because just because adding AI doesn't mean that you can actually increase the power consumption, or just because you put AI doesn't mean that you already have the software optimization or data sets that you already have. So walk us through the challenges that it sounds easy to leverage AI to make my industrial products better. Walk us through some challenges that they should be prepared. I mean, product development managers should be prepared what they need to do.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of what we covered already. It's I think the two big challenges, just which actually is a wonderful way of summarizing what we discussed, is the first one is identifying a business need that matters. So where do you add value and on your product, and what is and then you go into a trade-off. How much value do I add to my solution, and how much does it cost me to add this value? So it's because it's always like this, if it's a new product, how much more do I add into my bill of materials, and is it worth it or not, right? It's because if it's adding for the sake of adding, no one will do it. So clients have to see them as a really strong differentiator. So it's one thing, and likewise, if I run AI at the edge into industrial processes, what are the alternative, and how much does the alternative cost, and how much am I saving into my process by doing it? So everything starts by this kind of discussion. Some we help facilitate, as I explained. Some where we don't play. Our clients, many of our clients are mature enough to have this kind of discussion themselves, frankly, and they have gone through this when we speak with them already. So that is the first phase. The second phase is where we come in play, which is very often from time to time we come in the first phase, but the second phase is where it is, how do I make it happen? And here it's you need a statement of having the right accelerator or MCUs to run it, and we have made a lot of possible in the last few years, because now you see MCUs with what we call NPU, neural processing units, which are accelerators. So they run neural networks, which before would take way more time. I wouldn't run, as a matter of fact, on most MCUs. So now you make them possible because of that.
Yeah.
And you have a family of them. So it's which one is a need for you? So which kind of model do you plan to run? How big is your model? How many iteration? If you have frame per second, what is your expectation? Do you need to run at 10, 20, 30 frame per second for your output? So that's a kind of solution where we help one, define the hardware target. What kind of data do you have? And two, optimize a model. So what is your model? Can we help optimize a model? Can we make the model smaller but keep the same accuracy to the model? Which we go into technology that we have of compression, of pruning, of quantization. You go from 16 bit to 8 bits to 4 bits and so forth. But can I do this and still be accurate? And in some case you can, in some case you can't. So it's we help them build it. So it's and we have a set of tools, frankly, in the Edge AI tool, ST Edge AI, to help them with these solutions. It's and we have a very strong focus in building this software. So it's and at the end, very often we come back to what I was saying. We have everything, but you don't have the data set. So how do we help you capture the data sets? And we have a very strong focus in making data sets ready for the models as well, and having this and feed the data sets into the models. So it's and then I guess you are ready. When you have all that, you are ready. But you go into this two big phase: business value, and then tooling.
Tooling, yeah.
Yeah,
So,
and then tooling is hardware and software, but then you are ready to go.
yeah. One last question. Do you have special tools to help your customers develop better and faster data sets?
Oh yes, we do. We have a specific focus on capturing data sets. We discovered that the biggest problem was not on image, but mostly on all the other kind of data sets, vibrations, electricity. For example, arc fault detection, this kind of thing. So yes, we do have a tool that is doing this. We are actually also planning to have even a more advanced tool arriving at the end of this year to do that, which is in alpha at a number of clients now. And it's a very strong focus we have, simply because we found it was the number one problem for most of our clients. The ability to build the data set, validate the data set, make sure the data set is ready. It's if I come back to arc fault detection, it's very, very hard to have a good data sets of arc fault issues. It's a very important focus for us, and we continue to do it. It's to help our clients.
I think it's exactly what I come back to the originally when I approached you about this project. I talked about some of the engineers, the system engineers was asking chip companies, I really don't need a Swiss Army knife, but I want sometimes very good steak knife. And in this analogy, I think ST is making a family of knives, right? There's a knife block somewhere, and but you actually do have to have the dedicated knife for dedicated application.
Exactly. It's actually why we name our set of product AGI Suite, because it's not one product, it's several products because they fit different needs. Just like you have your kitchen block, with a wooden block with all the different knives. To take your analogy, it's exactly the same. Depending whether I want to chop vegetables or cut meat or prepare fish, I will have different knives. It's well, our clients are coming from different places. Some are doing voice, some are doing vision, some are doing video, some have very strong expectation in terms of power performance because they are on battery operated devices. Some are more onto, they don't care about power, but they care about speed a lot and performance. So for that, we need a set of tools. Not one tool can do everything. And this is why we have this suite, and then people can navigate. But we have interconnected all of them so that they can move from one to the other. Exactly.
That can help. Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Well, thank you so much for coming to the show. I really learned a lot. I mean, this is really illuminating. I wish you the best. And I'm looking forward to using one of those or several of those devices that without me knowing, ST's AI is inside, right?
Yeah, I'm sure I can already, I could probably already find a few in your house.
All right. Very good.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming to the show.
Thank you, Chingo. Bye-bye.
STMicroelectronics has been driving edge AI innovation for over 10 years with intelligent microcontrollers, smart sensors, and advanced tools. Combined with a rich software ecosystem and a growing partner network, the company delivers energy-efficient, high-performance, and privacy-focused solutions for industrial, automotive, and consumer applications.